The next time you're at the home improvement store, be sure to grab a can of spray foam. You're not going to believe what you can make with it. To start this project, you have to remove the cap and you have to securely attach the little spout to your spray can. And you want to make sure for this project that you are wearing gloves. This stuff is very hard to get off your hands, so you definitely want to make sure you've got some gloves on. So you want to start off fairly small and just press down the nozzle, and it's going to start filling, and you just kind of want to make these however you'd like, and you want to keep spraying some foam. Again, don't forget that they're going to keep expanding, and you can work this around if you need to, however you'd like. And we want to make a bunch of these kind of blobs, and you can add some onto it, and we're going to leave this. So we want to make a bunch of these. And again, you want to make sure that you're doing this on your parchment paper because it'll make it much easier to pull off later. And I'm going to keep making some. And then we're just going to let these dry overnight. As these are starting to dry, you can start adding on more layers and bumps to your piles. The reason we don't do this all at once is because it'll just kind of all meld into each other, but as they're starting to dry and get a little hard, you can start adding little additions onto them. Once your pieces are about halfway dry, I like to peel them up at that point. So it may not be completely dry, and that's okay. And what I want to do is add some texture to the back side because I don't want to have these flat necessarily on one side. So I'm just going to do the same thing and add some texture to the back. Once your foam popcorn pieces are all ready and dry, it's time to get ready to start stringing these into the garland. So to make a hole to go through these, I'm going to use one of these large skewers, and you just want to make sure it's got a point on the end. You can decide how you want your popcorn piece to be on your garland, and then you're just going to poke the skewer right through the foam. Super, super easy. So you can go in one side, out the other, and I wiggle it around a little just to make sure I have some nice space in there. The other thing we're going to need to make our garland are some Christmas balls. So I've picked out some really pretty red ones here, and I'm going to use the top of these to actually string them. So I'm going to just snip off these cords that they came with. And you could, if you wanted to, take these balls and drill a hole through one side and out the other to actually string these through your garland. But I want to show you how to do this without any tools. Now it's time to start stringing our garland. So I'm going to take one of these small skewers that I picked up at the dollar store and just some hemp twine. And I'm going to twist that hemp twine right around the end of this, and I'm going to use some clear tape to just hold that in place. And you want to twist it as tight as possible because you might have a hard time getting it through the little loops on the end of the Christmas balls. But if you do, you can just take the twine right off the skewer and then just add it back on to go through the next popcorn ball. Okay, so I've got this on my skewer, and I'm going to start stringing my popcorn balls, or my popcorn pieces here. So I'm just going to pop that right through the hole I already made with the larger skewer, and it'll just come right out the other side, and I can just pull my twine right out the other side. If you have trouble getting the twine through your little hole like this, like I said, you can always pop your twine back off of your skewer and just string it right through your baubles here, your little ornaments, and then you can attach it back to the skewer for the next one. And then it'll just come right out the other side, and you can pull it straight through. So as you're doing this, you can kind of get a feel for how you want these spaced out, and you can keep going until you have all your popcorn and your little ornaments all attached. So I'm going to keep stringing this garland, and I'll be back to show you what it looks like. This giant popcorn garland was so fun to make, and there are so many ways you can use it around the holidays. It is perfect for adding a pop of color and whimsy. Let me know if you give it a try. Thank you so much for watching this episode of Home Talk. I'm Lisa from Recreated Designs. I'll see you next time.
So I have here a set of 80 string lights. They're on a battery pack, super easy to use. I'm going to go with a battery pack, especially for this DIY, because I'm going to be placing this down my table. So I don't want any plugs or cords or anything like that. So all I have to do is pop the batteries in here and this is ready to go. So we're going to stretch out our light garland here, and then I'm going to bring in my Christmas bulbs. So I'm just going with this pack here. I ended up using 3 of these packages. I picked these up last year on the discount rack at Michael's, but you do want to make sure that they have the hook type like this where you can pull it out, because we're going to be doing this super easy. So all we do is pull out the hook, we slide it on to our light garland, and then we pinch it together at the end, and we just slide the ball right back on. So no glue needed, no extra wires. It's super easy just to take apart these balls and then put them back on the light garland using their own hooks that come with them. So I'm just going to repeat this process, going back and forth on either side of the light garland and alternating different colors of the Christmas bulbs. So just making sure I don't get too much of one color in one area. So for this garland, I have green, red, sparkly red, and sparkly gold. So I'm going to make sure that I take my time and alternate all the colors so that I'm getting a nice garland where the colors are going every other. The other thing that I really like about doing it this way is that we're not wrecking the bulbs at all, and we're not wrecking the garland, the string light, sorry. So you can actually take this apart if you ever want to not use it again, or you want to use the bulbs on your tree. You haven't wrecked anything or glued anything, so just take it apart and you can repurpose these balls next year for something else if you ever do get tired of this garland. So I'm going to continue working away down here. It does take a bit of time to put all these bulbs on, and I'm going to make this as long as my table. So if I have any extra lights hanging off the end, I can just work those back around under my garland. I don't actually have to use the full length of the light garland. And then once it's done, I'm going to set it here on my dining room table, and I'm just going to try and like position it and curve it around so that it has a nice natural flow to it. And then once I have it where I like it, I can turn it on using the button on the battery pack. And then all I have to do is actually just take this battery pack and just kind of hide it underneath the garland itself so that you don't actually see it. So I just stick it right under these Christmas bulbs and hide it in there. I think that this is such a simple and easy DIY that anyone can do, and it looks so fun and festive on my dining room table. I actually like shutting all the lights off and seeing it flicker and glow when I walk by. And you could actually do this garland for a mantel. You could have it running down your stairwell. There are so many places where you could put this garland. The dining room table is just one of the options. So get creative with this DIY and tweak it to suit your taste. Use whatever color bulbs match your decor and really have fun with this one. Thanks so much for tuning into Home Talk, and we'll see you on another video.